That's hugely unfair, though. I mean, because you know.
That's what I'm here to be.
but he is our Deputy Prime Minister.
He is. Whether he's in charge or not is a moot point. I don't think the Tories reckon he's in charge.
Well, David Cameron said, he doesn't want to be disturbed in Cornwall unless it's very important.
Only the big deals, thank you very much, is what he's saying.
There you go. We shall see how Mr Clegg gets on. To the Times, looking at further cuts, Army helicopters, it says, could be under threat. Now, this, of course, is going to be really controversial. There's been so much concern over the helicopters
we had
already.
Liam Fox, the Defence Secretary, talking yesterday about cuts, and the major headlines today have been talking about a lot of officers going, whereas in the Times they're saying the Army could lose half of its transport helicopter fleet. There is this order, £300 million contract for 40-year-old Puma helicopters signed last year, which is meant to relieve this shortage, which they've said on the ground that they've had all along for years in Afghanistan. It's something that the Tories themselves, when they were out of power, they were banging on that this we should have more of these helicopters. Now this has been looked at in the Strategic Defence Review to chop this out of, and it would be an easy thing to chop by the looks of it. And I think they're looking for these easy things to chop. Short term easy, but in the long term, is it going to affect the men on the ground over there? Yeah. Again, they're talking about all these officers they're aiming at getting rid of, rather than the rank and file soldiers as well. But when little things like this happen, getting rid of helicopters, that is going to impact massively.
But I guess it's why they say a Strategic Defence Review was well overdue. Well, yeah. At least it's been looked at properly. That would be the argument. Talking of people on the ground, it's a fantastic story in the Mirror about someone who's just returned home and proved to be a hero yet again.
Well, this is Lance Corporal James Robinson. He's a 26-year-old. He's come back from a tour of duty, and he was going in a bookies in Birmingham. Now, I think with a lot of some of his officers getting the boot, they'll probably be in the bookies very shortly as well. But he was in there this week. Someone came in with a gun, started threatening the staff. Now he realised, he heard a click on the gun, realised there wasn't any bullets in it. So he attacked the fella, ran him out of the shop. Total hero, as he's been trained to do. He took down the registration number of the car. The fella's been done. Or he's going to be. He's been arrested already, a 25-year-old man. Interesting, Ladbrokes, who own this shop, they say he might get a reward. Isn't that big-hearted of them? Yeah. He might get a reward. We're looking into it at the moment.
They want to be chucking a couple of grand in his direction, I would say. Quite right.
Because he knows how to handle a gun, this fella.
Yeah. Let's go to the Express. One for Charlotte this morning.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this one.
Oh, yeah,
the manliest of men.
Yes, this is...
and it's not about me.
I don't know how. A survey has been done, and the various body parts, face parts, has been put together to create the #1 man that ladies really lust after and would want. It's been dubbed Bradial Buthny, because it's a collection of George Clooney, Gerard Butler, Brad Pitt, Jason Statham and Daniel Craig. Now, he looks a bit odd to me.
I think he looks a bit odd.
Yeah.
What do you think, Charlotte?
Yeah, I agree. I don't know how they could have taken all those, good-looking blokes, put it together in one face, and yet it doesn't look quite right, does it?
But there is a new shaving company they're called Bluebeard's Revenge. This product helps to get rid of stubble, 40%. Now, they are looking for someone who looks like this to be in all their adverts, so it might pay off looking like this fella. But you've got to contact the Express, and there's a little website in there. So if you look like this fella, you could be the man, the face of Bluebird's Revenge.
I think he looks a bit like a sort of slightly thinner Prince Andrew.
There you
somehow,
go.
Or do you know what I mean? He's got that sort of slightly royal look about him.
He could do with a good shave, whatever.
Well, there you go. I thought stubble was in. I don't know, I never shave when I'm not working. There you go. Now, a fantastic story. Well, I say a fantastic story in the Express. It's one of those unbelievable stories. Thank heavens it had a happy ending.
Yes, 7-year-old Cody Potter. She likes to pick up little pebbles and things off the beach in New Biggin in Northumberland. She came home one day for their little bucket. She was swinging the bucket around, apparently, as well. And underneath all the little pebbles, there was a hand grenade. It was a live hand grenade. There was no pin in it, so there was no... She thought it looked a little like a turtle, and she thought it was a lovely little pebble, looked like a turtle. I'll bring it home. So she took it home, and she said, I put my bucket behind the bins in the yard to keep it safe because sometimes Mum and Dad will throw it away. Then she showed it to her mum and dad in the morning.
So it was there overnight. It was
there overnight.
Tipping that out on the table.
There you go, Mum. Here it is. It looks like a turtle. So they got very worried. They said it looked like a hand bomb. Turns out it was a hand bomb. She says, I still go down to the beach to look for things, but now I have to be careful. Mum says, I shouldn't look for another bomb.
No playing with a hand grenade.
The entire street evacuated till it was all sorted out.
If you see her shaking a bucket along as you're walking along in New Biggin today, run for your lives as well.
I tell you, it's thank heavens it's all we can have a laugh about it. Good grief. Michael, great to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Now, Australians go to... Well, that's it for another hour of Sunrise, but lots more still to come, including more on the top story that President Obama has given. Let's have a look at the rest of the news this morning with Charlotte.
Stephen, thank you. The number of people taking out short-term loans between paydays has quadrupled over the last 4 years. More than 1 million people have taken out the so-called payday loans, which often come with extremely high interest repayments. Kitty Logan has the details. And the world's biggest freestyle motocross championship returns to London today. The Red Bull X-Fighters will perform spectacular stunts and tricks in a specially built stadium in front of Battersea Power Station. 28,000 fans are expected to attend, and it follows a successful debut in the capital last year. Looks like it'll have people on the edge of their seats. Look at that.
They must be bonkers.
I think they probably are. Safe to say.
Great stuff, though. I noticed that one of the key riders is an Australian. They have no fear, do they?
Maybe that's it.
No fear. Charlotte, great stuff. Thank you. Let's have a look. Very good morning. You're watching Sunrise. Stephen Dixon with you live through until 10 o'clock this morning. And still to come, we'll take you through the papers with Lynn Foldswell. Good to see you this morning.
Thank you.
First, the top stories and President Obama. Let's have a look at the rest of the news this morning with Charlotte.
Stephen, thank you. The number of people taking out short-term loans to solve their cash flow problems between paydays has quadrupled over the last 4 years. It's estimated...
Yes, the picture on the front page shows you an awful lot of blue men and very, very few red women. And that's basically the number of women who are directors in top FTSE 100 companies. And there's only about 1 in 12 or 1 in 10 of them is women directors. Only 5 of the top 100 companies in the FTSE are run by women.
Is this because women aren't best placed to do this? I mean, they're suggesting gender.
Careful what you say
But
there.
they're suggesting gender inequality here. But is it just that for these particular companies that they're looking at, that actually the women weren't the best candidates for the job?
Well, there's an awful lot of women the next layer down, and one of the suggestions in The Independent, and if you're interested in this, there's pages of it in The Independent, it's saying that the trouble is that companies are still run like fiefdoms, with cliques and personal relationships, and you get the same men being recycled around these companies. So the suggestion is that we're not getting a proper crack at the corporate whip.
I don't know.
I obviously have sympathy with that story.
Well,
I do as well. I
yeah.
think it's disgraceful.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
think it is really?
Yes.
Oh, come on.
Well, I don't know.
Look
I
at the government. Which woman can you name? Theresa May. Why can you name her? Possibly because she wore leopard skin shoes. Come
Great
on,
shoes
folks,
they were,
give us
too.
a better crack at the whip.
It's just this. It's the idea of putting women or anybody into a position because of gender, whichever way around it works, because of gender rather than because of talent.
No, well, I would rather it was not because you were a friend of somebody. I think there's a lot of talented
And
women
if they're
out
being
there.
excluded because of gender, then something has to be done to address
But
them.
there's no suggestion that is the case. is
Well,
it?
you just don't know.
Well, there's lots of suggestions in The Independent.
Well,
okay.
I'm sure. Let's talk.
And
Let's go.
now to another female.
Yeah,
this is
meerkats.
Lily the meerkat.
There's a lot to be said for those particular adverts which have caused a lot of interest in
Well,
meerkats over
we all
recent years.
love them, and this one was looking for a mate, and the mate they'd found wasn't up to the job, and so they created a website, www.meerkatmatch.com, in which Lily was described as an alert, dark-eyed, inquisitive, free-spirited lady with a good sense of humour and enjoys fine dining, digging, and cosy nights in. And they
Did that
found
do
her
the
a
job?
mate. This was a very happy story in the end. Mr. Darcy, who was a younger man,
Oh, right.
younger meerkat, and
wrong with
he was flogged to her for 600 quid, did the business, and she's now got 4 babies. And if you want to see them, they're at Twin Lakes Theme Park near Melton Mowbray in Leicestershire.
You could have saved all the bother and just compared meerkats on websites, couldn't they?
I love the description of her being good at digging.
Yeah, well, gold digging, possibly. Who knows? Who knows? Let's finish off. Running out of time, but let's talk in the Express about a hero
the dog of war. Well, during the war, this was a dog which was the only animal in a Japanese prisoner of war camp, and she was brilliant at sniffing out food and water. And this dog was honoured with a Dickens Medal, and I think there were a lot of animals more, pigeons, horses, and it's great to see the animals remembered for the job that they do in war as well as our brave soldiers.
Judy, and a great picture of Judy there too.
And she lived to be 13 years old.
Not a bad age, is it? Considering all she went
Well,
through.
exactly.
Lynn, great to see you. Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
indeed.